Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy. You're reading with Jimmy. We're reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and we're analyzing the lobster quadrille. Sorry. We left off with Alice reciting the voice of the sluggard, or actually a mixed-up version of it, and that was an excellent mixed-up version. And we start off these couple of pages with the Griffin saying, well, that's different from what I used to say when I was a child. And remember, Alice as a child is used to memorizing poems like this. So, well, I never heard of it before, said the Mock Turtle, which I'm sure many of you in the audience never heard of the sluggard before. But it sounds uncommon nonsense. Alice said nothing. She sat down with her face in her hands, wondering if anything would ever happen in a natural way again. So Alice, as evidenced throughout this whole story of her, since she ran after the rabbit, everything is mixed up in this wonderland, and she's just wondering if anything would ever happen naturally again. And the Mock Turtles wants it explained. I would like to have it explained. Well, she can't explain it, said the Griffin hastily. Go on with the next verse. But what about his toes? The Mock Turtle persisted. How could he turn them out with his nose? How does that work? Well, it's the first position in dancing, Alice said. But she was dreadfully puzzled by the whole thing, and she just wished somebody would change the subject. I'll go on with the next verse, the Griffin repeated. It begins, I passed by his garden. Now, you remember I did show you the sluggard, the original poem, the last time. We can always go back there and look at it again. But she just recited the first two stanzas, and now we're coming to the other. So Alice did not dare to disobey. You know what? Let me highlight that. That's a good question. Alice dare not disobey. She's used to obeying, right? Children obey. She didn't feel. But anyway, has she obeyed before? Though she felt sure it would all could go wrong, she went on in a trembling voice. She's nervous, poor child. I passed by his garden and marked with one eye how the owl and the panther were sharing a pie. The panther took pie crusts and the gravy and meat, while the owl had the dish as its share of the treat. And when the pie was all finished, if you remember from the sluggard, it has nothing to do with panthers, right? When the pie was all finished, the owl, as a boon, was kindly permitted to pocket the spoon, while the panther received the knife and the fork with a growl and concluded the banquet by, what is the use of repeating all that stuff? The Mock Turtle interrupted. And if you don't explain it as you go on, it's by far the most confusing thing I've ever heard. Yes, I think you better leave off, said the Griffin. And Alice was only too glad. She was only so glad, right? Shall we try another figure of the lobster quadrille? The Griffin went on. Or would you like the Mock Turtle to sing you another song? Oh, sing a song if the Mock Turtle would be so kind, Alice replied eagerly. She's very eager. Get that spotlight off me. And the Griffin said in a rather offended tone, And so instead of dancing, no accounting for taste. Do you know the Latin for that? No accounting for taste? Remember, Jimmy studied Latin. Let me share it with you. De gustibus non est disputanum. You want me to repeat that? De gustibus non est disputanum. Sing her turtle soup, will you, old fellow? Sing turtle soup. The Mock Turtle sighed deeply and began in a voice choked with sobs. Don't forget he's singing the turtle soup song, and what is he? That's right, he's a turtle. Beautiful soup, so rich and green, waiting in a hot tureen. Who for such dainties would not stoop? Soup of the evening, beautiful soup. Soup of the evening, Beautiful soup. Beautiful soup. Beautiful soup. Soup of the evening. Beautiful, beautiful soup. There was a poet. Jimmy's going to have to look him up, and I'll try to come back at you with the poet who did this. But I don't know if you've ever looked at the alphabet, but one of the longest letters that has, you know what a syllable is, ladies and gentlemen, right? A, B, right. But there's one letter that has three syllables. And this poet actually created a poet with the one letter. And this is the way it went. W. Beautiful soup. Who cares for the fish? Game or any other dish. Who would not give all else for 2 pennies worth only of beautiful soup? Pennyworth only of beautiful soup. Beautiful soup. Beautiful soup. Beautiful, beautiful soup. Chorus again, cried the Griffin, and the Mock Turtle had just begun to repeat it when the cry of the trial's beginning was heard in the trial's beginning. The trial's beginning. Come on, cried the Griffin, taking Alice by the hand and hurrying off without waiting for the end of the song. What's the trial about? Alice panted as she ran. But the Griffin only answered, come on, and ran faster, while more and more faintly came and carried on the breeze that followed them the melancholy words, soup of the evening, beautiful soup, beautiful, beautiful soup. The heck was that all about? Well, I don't know if you were a turtle, you want to be singing that song. This was a chapter, you got to figure out what it's all about. We're going to analyze the whole thing when we analyze the whole book. But Alice is still mixing up her memory of poems, but she's growing in awareness, isn't she? She's getting courage. So you know the word, what does melancholy mean? It's a sad, melancholy means sad. And who's singing this song? The turtle. You're reading with Jimmy. This is the end of chapter 10. Chapter 10, if you remember, was the lobster quadrille, a dance. It had all sorts of things going on. And now there's some type of trial going on, and Alice and the Griffin are running towards wherever this trial is going on. And you can peek at the next title. Here it is, chapter 11, Who Stole the Tarts? But we're going to get to that in the next analysis. This is Jimmy. You're reading with Jimmy. My email is jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com, jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com. Send me an email with your questions, comments, etc., and look forward to seeing you on the next chapter 11. And here's a hint. There's one more chapter after this, and then we're done with the book. See you soon.